Well, it's interesting, George. So first of all, it's 2.5 days and it's in a very safe space and people are prepped to go into it. So we'll do a leadership assessment. They'll have a debrief with a coach. They'll get really clear on what's in their own way and what's in the team's way. So by the time they come in the room, they know what's happening. But we promise in writing and have a money back guarantee, the team will be in a much better place. There's the facilitation, it's 25 years of training in facilitation. It's not like any Jim or Joe or Susie or Mary can lead those things. It's a very, very high level. It's challenging for people, but they're free because all the stuff that they've been holding on to that doesn't work. Okay. All the complaints about this company, all the strangleholds or the choke holds, all of the constraints, it all comes out. It turns into an artifact. It has a date by when it's going to get fixed, and everybody's on the same page. That's why we call it deep alignment. I will tell you that I've had certain clients who I've been coaching for 3 years who are scared to death to do that meeting. I'm still coaching them, but they're scared to death because they actually don't want to deal with the constraints. They're more comfortable. So there's a word that you will like, a phrase called cordial hypocrisy. It's a great book. Companies that are executive teams that are more comfortable with cordial hypocrisy will not do a deep alignment because the deep alignment will blow up that cordial hypocrisy because we go into what is trust. And trust is not looking at your face saying everything is great. And then when I walk out of the room, I talk to my 3 other executives and say another shit show meeting. That's cordial hypocrisy.
As a CEO, one of the most valuable traits that I learned, and I'm not sure exactly when I learned it, I would say maybe I learned it somewhere between 2010 and 2015, was the ability to address every difficult issue, either in a group or one-on-one. And there's such a skill involved and courage. I guess courage is the number one thing of all. You have to have a tremendous amount of courage to call one of your direct reports, a VP or a director in a small company, and have a very open and direct conversation, not to humiliate them, but to let them know they are out of alignment with the culture of the organization and it needs to change. If you have the courage and discipline to do it, it is a profound change over outcomes.
And it's funny that it's not funny that you bring this up, but this is what we do in our executive coaching program. It really is about, so there's 5 dimensions of leadership. And the center of it is the leader from within. If I am not confident, if I am not clear, if I am not comfortable in my own skin with my role, I won't say what needs to be said. And, then there's leading from the front saying, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. This is how we do it. And then there's leading from the side, which is partnering with that person and saying, hey, I'm noticing, or it's apparent your behavior is out of alignment. And then there's leading from behind, which is getting out of the center light and supporting someone else. That's true empowerment, supporting someone else to make decisions. And then there's leading from the field, which is tapping into insight and intuition, which is then where innovation comes from. So a big piece of being comfortable in the uncomfortable is in building the muscles of those disciplines of what it takes to be a CEO. One of the keys for highly successful people is discipline. And it's the discipline to get up and do it even when you don't want to. The discipline to have that radically candid conversation with somebody that this doesn't seem like it's working out, or I want it to work out. I'm willing to work with you, but do you really want it to work out? Because sometimes people don't. And especially, I think we're at the tail end of the Great Resignation, because the great resignation is going to be met with the great layoffs. And I think people in the past, a year ago, a year and a half ago, oh, I'm really tired, I'm burnt out, I don't want to deal with this stuff anymore. A lot of people would rather just leave than have to get better.
Right. But the cordial hypocrisy, I think, is the order of the day in most places. And when you move from an environment where that's been true your entire career, no matter which company, it's that, very few managers are as direct and clear as they need to be. And so your bad habits have gone with you everywhere. Your selfishness, those personality traits that are inherently so limiting, they're embedded in you, and now someone's going to call you on it. And so that could become very uncomfortable. And as we probably read somewhere or another, people will exit themselves if you make it uncomfortable enough with truth, not with humiliation, not with degradation, but just with truth. This needs to change. Here's what has to happen. And
perfect.
And the date it has to happen is within the next 90 days. And if you don't get it done in the next 90 days, it's been nice knowing you, but I want you to know today that is what has to happen.
Yeah. So there's so much you just said. So the power is in freedom to choose. They want me to be operating at this level. All I can possibly do is give the best I can, and my best is here. Oops, there's a gap. I'm unwilling to change. I am unwilling to take myself on. So there's real power in having people resign. Bye.
Yeah.
There's power, because when it's the wrong person, they will hold the whole company back. And what I said earlier that managers need to get some training in mental health and how to identify that. But we also have to teach new people when they come on board, what does it mean to be part of a high performance organization? What is the DNA of being in a high performance organization? We should be doing that during the interview process. Vivian and I, who's sitting right next to me, we are working with a company. We did a compelling future with them. They're a women's clothing manufacturer. You find their clothes in places like REI. Well, we did a 2.5-day workshop with their executive team about 3 months ago. It was extraordinary. Now they've called back and they said, okay, you said you could help us hire the right people for this culture. We thought we could do it on our own, but we're having some mistakes. We're having some performance issues, and the performance issues are not just about people not achieving their goal or their metric. It's all the systemic drama, conflict, entanglement when there's performance issues, right? Because there's hurt feelings or there's arguments. So if we could just tell people before they come in, here's our bar, these are the behaviors. And you know what? If you don't operate with these behaviors, it's probably going to be short-lived. It'll be like a temp job for you.
Right.
We're not doing a good enough job of telling people what it's going to take to succeed in our company, and what we require in terms of performance. And even when you do tell them, people only listen with the listening that's available for them and the level of consciousness they're in that moment. Because sometimes people hear what they want to hear.
Hiring is a whole other topic, and we're going to leave that for another day. And Margaret, we're coming up on an hour right now, so I think it's probably a good time to wrap. But I sure appreciate you taking this hour to spend with me. I think it's been a very engaging discussion, and I'm sure that anyone that has the opportunity to listen to this will enjoy what they learn. So what I'd like to offer you at this moment is the opportunity to tell everyone how to get in touch with Margaret Graziano and Keen Alignment.
So it's Keen Alignment, KEENALIGNMENT.com. Hindsight, maybe it's a long name. Our website, reach us there. And I'm Margaret Graziano on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.